My cat is behind me asleep right now, and he looks adorable, so enjoy that for a second. But today I got something really quick for you guys. This is just a simple contraption that I made a long time ago in a video that I used to link people when talking about this, but then I realized that video is kind of cringy and I'm not going to link it for your benefit. But what we have here is a simple shulker box loader, manual. So the tricky thing about this is most of these systems are completely automatic, which makes sense. You want it to be hands-free. You don't want to have to get involved or anything. But in certain situations where you'll be crafting a massive amount of items, you might want a system like this where when you take your crafted items, you can just throw them in and it'll pop out and replace it with a new box. We use this all of the time for our iron crafting system, and I'll show you a clip of that right now. So as you can see, it's really useful and we use this all the time, and I haven't really had much incentive to design something other than this because you can see the wiring is incredibly minimal. I will be doing a quick tutorial for this, although I'm fairly sure it's not necessary, but there are a couple tricky things to mention like the input and output. But I haven't had incentive to design something better because this really just does everything I need it to. We have in the past tinkered with some floor designs, but you might notice in a lot of testing here that the shulker boxes like to fly up. You'll see that even right now, they're almost always hitting the top. So what we found is having a hopper below it, where the shulker box can just hit the top dropper and hopper and just stay down, this is 100% reliable. I have crafted literally hundreds of shulker boxes full of iron, and I have never had it not go straight in the system. There are situations where you'll be shift double clicking, this will fill up, and then your items might spill on the ground. That is easily fixed by just adding a long delay. That way you'll have plenty of time to exit your inventory before it resets itself. And even with 2 repeaters here, you have plenty of time. Obviously, you can adjust that to your liking if you really want it. If you want it like super fast, for example, like that's completely fine. It'll work all the same. And over here is exactly the same thing. It's just one less repeater, replacing it with a dust, and we're just moving the redstone block off to the side. I think the repeater design is preferred just because repeaters are a little bit less laggy than dust. Not that that really matters. And it gives you a little more flexibility with the delay, and it's a lot more compact with the redstone block. And like I mentioned, because I use it with delay anyway, having 2 repeaters really isn't a problem for me. So yeah, it's a pretty solid system, and let's kind of get on with the tutorial. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to mention a little bit of the input and output. I'll show you on screen now that on our server where we use this, our output is different. So our output actually goes straight down and then into an item stream and then up into a larger reservoir. And our input actually comes from below. See, this was a clever technique I figured out, that since we wanted to have this shulker box loader in the middle of our crafting area, I didn't want to have the required reservoir of shulker boxes anywhere visible, so we just put it completely underneath, and we had every single output from this design actually trigger that dropper to refill the system. So I think that was a very clever solution, and it's worked very well for us. See, this is a design I can happily endorse because I've personally used it for a long time in a lot of situations. So I a lot I stand by it quite a lot. I'm going to leave that in. Anyway, so the simple thing here is to figure out where you want the dispenser to be. So wherever you want your shulker box loader, this is kind of a 4 wide, you can make it 5 wide kind of thing. So your dispenser will be right in the middle of that, and you just need a piston with an observer facing up, just like so. Now, one thing to note is in this design here, where it was quick enough, you can actually, oops, you can actually get away with not having that block. I'm not really sure how I was able to pull that off, but I guess it just updates fast enough, whereas over here, you actually do need to have that block or else it won't send that output. That's just something to note. I would prefer putting the block there anyway, just to make this look like a flat face, maybe even something like that, just to make it more complete. But that's just something to note based on the design you're doing. And the design is so simple that I'll just show it in one way. So basically you just need a comparator coming out the back, and then just kind of bust the signal. Hell, I'll just use 2 more repeaters. And then the redstone block simply just makes sure that this comparator is completely full, completely powered on, and only a full shulker box will give that output. So already you should have something like that. And then all you need is some kind of input. I'm not going to tell you guys how to do that. You can do what we did and like have it go around the back, or you can have it up here, over here, any way that you want to refill the shulker box. I mean, that's completely fine. I mean, if you even want to have if you even want to have a dropper facing sideways like that, that'll probably work too. It'll just shoot shulker boxes in from here. Whatever you want. And then the output, all you need at all is a hopper like that. A hopper, or I guess a hopper minecart would work completely fine. And then of course that hopper can go wherever you want. And that's really the bare bones design, you guys. It's really quite simple and super endorsed by me. So hope you guys enjoyed this little mini episode. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching.